Greetings and welcome back to Room 303 in our chats with Emily, as we're calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson. We are in the Johnson edition. We turned now to poem 715, The World Feels Dusty. But I almost feel like we got to read the whole line to really appreciate this as our first line. The world feels dusty when we stop to die. I've said a number of times, Emily sometimes just reaches out for these poems and kind of shocks us with a line like this. Now, in many ways, we're back to poem 648, a poem that we think she was writing to Sam Boyles. Promise this, when you be dying, some shall summon me. Mine belong your latest sighing, mine to belt your eye, not with coins, though they be minted from an emperor's hand, be my lips the only buckle your low eyes demand. And then, of course, she continues. Now, this poem was published first in the Atlantic Monthly of February 1929. Our assumptions are that you've been following our stuff at LearnStrong.net. Down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily's our playlist. I'm hopeful you've worked through our set of introductory comments where we comment on the importance of Sam Boyles, that editor of the Springfield Republican. Had a very close relationship to Emily, but he was married. And so there's an interesting dynamic going on there between the two of them. I'm also hopeful that you've already worked through our preceding 714 poems. We just finished with 714, Rest at Night, another death poem. And of course, these two poems can kind of be joined together. What does it feel like when one comes to the moment of one's, to use the language of the previous poem, rest? Here it is, of course, death. She'll comment on death in 135 of her poems. Clearly, Emily is the poet of death, no doubt about it, but she takes it from so many different perspectives. Think about this. What difference does it make what everyone has to say about you when you are dying? She says, all the honors you would probably give away for a few more days of life, she seems to suggest. Watch this. The world feels dusty when we stop to die. We want the dew. Then honors taste dry. Flags vex a dying face, but the least fan stirred by a friend's hand cools like the rain. Mine be the ministry when thy thirst comes, and high blood balms, dews of Thessaly to fetch. Well, the fact that she uses the word thy, as in you, obviously begs the question, who is she talking about? Which is, again, why some have speculated. We may be back to Sam Boyles here again, as we referenced, and possibly back to poem 648. Notice what she says, though, about the world when one comes to die. But she doesn't say comes to die, she says stops to die. The world feels dusty when we stop to die. In a very provocative way, the world stops turning when we die. Not that the world doesn't keep turning. Obviously it does go back to the previous poem and the last line, go on. And yet, for us, in a profound way, the world kind of stops spinning and everything turns dusty as opposed to wet, dew, right? Because we're so dry. T.S. Eliot's Wasteland comes to mind in passage 5. We've given full lectures at LearnStrong.net, if there were water and no rock, right? The world feels dusty when we stop to die. We want the dew. By the way, we're going to get to rain in a little bit. And then she says, honors taste dry. It's interesting. She seems to be suggesting that all that stuff we've said about live your life well so that when you come to the moment of your death, you can feel confident about your life and, you've created a certain kind of recognition. It may be that we're back to poem 713. All of the honor that one can accrue at one's death, if they don't know it's authentic, none of it's going to matter. In fact, all those flags will mean nothing. Now, I can't help but think of this poem and go back to 67. Success is counted sweetest by those who ne'er succeed. Not one of all the purple hosts who took the flag today can tell so well the definition of victory as he defeated dying. This idea that the flags of victory only vex the dying soldier. Think about the fact that, of course, this poem is written during the time of the American Civil War. Flags vex a dying face, but, and again, this is so Emily, right? She gives us two different perspectives. But the least fan, stirred by a friend's hand, notice hand capitalized, cools, dash, like the rain, dash. Whoa, I mean, this is a brilliant insight. At the moment of your death, it won't matter how much money you have. It won't matter how many honors you have. All you're going to care about is who's there with you. And you're going to hope it's a pal. You're going to hope it's a friend. And if it is a friend, someone who is waving the fan over your face because you're sweating, maybe because you're dying and you're hot, giving you something to drink, well, that's going to feel like rain, not dust, rain. And then the third part of the poem, after she sets this up, she says to whoever it is she's saying it to, mine be the ministry. And here, man, I can't help but be amazed that Emily's contemporary was Walt Whitman, who she never met, who of course was what? A nurse during the American Civil War. And we are told he did this very thing, sitting beside dying soldiers, both Union and Confederacy, and helping them to escape their death. Of course, we commented on this in our talks with Walt, and especially our section on drum taps when he was working as a nurse during the American Civil War. You can find all of that at learnstrong.net. Mine be the ministry. I love that she calls it ministry. She uses the religious language, yes. Mine be the ministry when thy thirst comes. We've seen this already in a number of poems, to try and bring some kind of water to a dying animal or tiger or whatever. When thy thirst comes, and then she'll reference this mountain in Sicily that's famous for its sweet-scented flowers and the like. When thirst comes, and Hybla balms, dews of Thessaly, of course Thessaly, a reference to the magic of that Greek locale, to fetch, and then that's the poem. In other words, this is a simple poem, really, in which she says, nobody wants to die alone. We all want to have our pal with us. She says, I hope I'm there with you when you die so that I can help you, which is, I think, the message of this poem. We all need the company of our pal, and we long for it when we pass. To die alone is provocative, right? Of course, Conrad will say in his classic Heart of Darkness, we live as we dream alone. He would, of course, expand, we die as we dream alone. And of course, at the conclusion of Heart of Darkness, when the fiancé is asking, was my name the last name? He lies and says yes, when of course it was the whore, because Kurtz dies ostensibly alone. At 2b, well, obviously the question is, who is the thy in the poem? Like, who's she writing this to? Is it Sam? Is it somebody else? At 3a, we mentioned Wasteland 5. Go back and do that study at learnstrong.net. It will reward, I think, this reading, as well as Keats's Ode on a Nightingale. Remember, he says, I've been half in love with Eastful Death. I think some of that influence is happening in this poem as well. Finally, at 3b, it's an interesting question about dying or resting, to use the previous poem. If you could choose to die with another person, who would that be and why? Who would you want bringing you rain when you were thirsty? Thank you.